guys know those stairs that I have with that OSB and 2x4s that's kind of holding my kids back from falling over? Yeah, I've been planning on building my own railing system out of steel, and the problem that I deal with is trying to find the time. I don't really have the time. But Muzada reached out to us and they offered to let us try their railing system, and honestly, it's exactly what my wife was looking for. So they sent us a kit and they were awesome to work with. They have a crew that is free. If you need to find out what to buy and how to make it happen on your project, they will walk you through and tell you what you need to do. And it is actually a pretty sweet kit. So I'm excited to see how it all goes together. What do you guys think? Should we tear down the old railing and put up the new railing? My wife thinks so. And I think so too, because it's a little less work for me instead of trying to redesign and build a whole new railing. Let's go take care of it. See what Muzada has to offer. So what I'm doing is I'm going to remove some of this railing just to get to this corner so I can kind of figure out what I need to do to mount the new railing on. And then the other thing too I got to figure out is my angle. So I got to build something to keep it nice and level for the pole. And I haven't really decided how I want to do that yet. I've got a couple ideas, but I haven't really focused on one in particular. But yeah, I just got to figure out what I want to do where the two railings come up on this corner. If I connect them together, it's going to take a little bit of figuring, or you leave them separate, which I really don't want to do, but I might have to. We'll see. But I wanted to look at this, kind of get an idea, because it's a little of a weird transition. But what needed to happen is we needed to move these stairs that way a little bit and had more of a landing right here so that the railing comes down, it can turn and then go back down. What we have right here is a step, as you can tell, and that's going to be a little interesting to figure out, but wanted to get to this point at least. I'm going to leave the rest of this so my kids don't fall off the edge, and if they like to get a little tumble, they don't have too far to fall, right? No, they're pretty good. Okay, let me do some figuring. Now that I removed this bottom railing, what I'm going to do, and I thought about this, is I'm actually going to take a screw, and this is just to find out exactly what my angle is. I'm going to build blocks, and each spot where there's going to be a pole will have a little, basically a step for it to sit on. That'll be perfectly level. So my poles have a flat base, they'll screw right to that, and then I'll finish it out and hopefully make it look pretty good. But to find that angle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screw, I'm going to screw it down on the board, and then I'm going to take a little level, I'm going to put the level on there and get it so it's perfectly level so I can just rest it on there, and then use an angle finder to find out what kind of angle that I need to start cutting blocks out to mount onto this board. Now granted, I'm taking this one off, the one down below is the one I'm going to mount to, but I think that's going to work out pretty well. All right, now I have my angle that I need, and I'm going to remove this 2x8 here, and then get down to that, and then I'll start building some blocks for each pole. And then once I get that blocks built, I'm going to start capping it with some nice pine that my wife stained, and then we'll get that all taken care of, put the poles on it, and my focus is to do the bottom stairs first, get it all figured out. Once that's figured out, then I'll start tackling the top. See how that goes. Here's what I'm talking about. See these blocks right here? They're cut to the right angle. This is actually level. I went ahead and put a level on it, make sure it's good. So what I'll do is I'll screw this bottom one in, I'll put some glue, screw the top one in, and then when I'm ready, I'll bolt this thing on top, but I won't bolt it on top until I put some nice pine over the top down here and go all the way down to the next block, but I gotta make a couple of these blocks. So I think that's gonna work out pretty well. They did a really nice job of making these poles. Everything is super legit, like super square. I love it. It's my job to make a good foundation for them to sit on. And hopefully I make it level enough. But they have angled holes on here. So there's a hole here and then there's a hole down below. So when you put the cable through, it keeps the angle of your stairs. So we'll go ahead and match these blocks, make a couple more of them down there, and then do the gluing and screwing and get it all done. And then I'll start plating it with some pine and go from there. But I think it'll work out. I think it's gonna work out really well. Okay, let's go cut some more. I have all the pine cut to length and all the angles figured out. So now I just got to shoot it with a nail gun and secure them on there. And then once I get that all done, then I can drill holes and put the posts on, bolt those on, and then I can do the top railing, figure out the length there and get that on, and then it's do all the cable. And then the sides, I plan on running a little strip down to finish it out. I think I'll do that. Maybe I'll just do a little triangle piece to clean that up a little bit. But anyways, that's what I got going on. So I think it should work. Let's nail it. So they have the black railing right here, which is stainless steel. Everything in this kit is stainless steel, by the way. And it's not long enough, but what they have is they've got these little, they feel like a nylon block, is what it feels like. So what you do, from my understanding, is you slide it inside here, and then you'll put a screw underneath, I believe, so you don't see it, and then you can extend your railing. So I need 112 inches of railing for that bottom staircase. So this here is, I think it's, I thought it was like a 6-footer. Let me just measure again. 6.5 feet long. And all the ones that I have are the same length. So I will take another railing right here and I'll cut it down to length, and then I can figure out where to mount it on the railing downstairs for the poles, and we should be good to go. So yeah, there's that. Oh, it's looking good. Look at that railing. Yesterday, I was messing with this until about 9 o'clock at night, but we finally got our angles figured out, which was a little tricky, and working with stainless steel is a little bit tougher because it gulls up easy and it's a lot harder to cut. But I just wanted to see how this worked out. I went ahead and cut the right length of these cables, as you can tell, and put those in. And now that I have an idea how it all works, I'm gonna start cutting these, and we're going to install this so that the kids don't fall over the edge and hurt themselves. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Should I fall over the edge?
No.
Okay, that's a good idea.
You can't even fit through there.
Yeah, I can't. Are you saying? Wow, that was like a total fat joke right there towards Dad. I can't even fit through that. Anyways, this is actually not too bad of a kit. They come up with a lot of different little pieces here, and so each thing has its own way of doing things and stuff, and there's lots of videos online to show. But so far, it's working out pretty good. It just takes a lot of time. This is not like a couple-hour project. This is going to be like hours of cutting and tightening and cutting and tightening and cutting and tightening and yeah, it takes a while. But the finished result, I think, is going to be well worth it. So, anyways, let's get this covered up so kids don't fall through the stairs and get that done. Yeah. I got a little helper here too, by the way.
Alright guys, it's Leg Arm's wife. You guys don't usually get to see me in videos because I do not farm and I don't fix things and I'm not planning to start. But since I have all the details about this railing and I'm the one who ordered it, I get to tell you about it. So Scott was going to try to build this himself, but because I wanted a cable railing and he didn't really have time to start from scratch as far as figuring out how many pieces he needed and how much material he needed, this cable railing kit from Musada was a great option for our needs. So Musada has a range of pre-designed railing systems that vary in materials as well as experience level for installation. We installed the Metal Advanced top mount system with a black stainless steel flat handrail and stainless steel cables. That system was a little bit more complicated to install, but it allowed Scott to do what he does best and cut and customize it for strength and stability. So ordering everything we needed to finish this project was super easy, and that's where I came in. So all I had to do was give them the length of our stairs, the angle of our stairs, some photos of our space, and a little 2D drawing showing the measurements of each section. I didn't think that it would work, but it totally did. We got everything we needed and Scott was able to finish this in just a couple days. There was definitely some skilled work involved in installing this railing, especially because of how our stairs are laid out, but it was still easier than Scott trying to figure out everything on his own. We're definitely really thankful for a kit option like this one from Musada. So if you're in the market for a railing and you don't want to try to figure it out from scratch, check them out.
I have a concentric vent that I pulled off the top of my house. And the reason why I pulled it off the top of my house is because last year it froze over when we were working on the house, just the furnace running, it froze the tip. Now this is a 3-inch concentric. So I have a 3-inch opening on the bottom, 3-inch for the exhaust and intake. They're both 3-inch. That way I was hoping it'd be big enough. Well, apparently it wasn't big enough. So what they have going on here, and this is what I mean by concentric, is you have a cone here, exhaust comes from the center, and then from the sides, it'll suck clean air down into your utility room or to your furnace or whatever you have going on. So this is what I'm gonna try to do. I've got some heat tape here, and I'm gonna see if I can wrap the tube and plug it in throughout the winter, which means I have to run power up to the top of the roof, and then I have to seal that so it doesn't, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a chore for me. But anything to stop it from freezing over, because I do not want to crawl up there when it's super cold out and you got a bucket of water and everything's icy on a steel roof and you're asking for trouble, and I don't want to break an arm. So I'm going to take this and pop some holes inside there, wrap some heat tape around it, wrap heat tape around the exhaust vent, and hopefully by rights it'll keep it warm enough so it doesn't freeze. And this is supposed to be, I think it shuts off at 50 degrees, and anything below that it will kick back on because it's got a little thermometer sensor thing right here, so we'll see if it works. But that's 6 feet long, and I think that'll do what I need to do. And then inside the attic, I'm going to actually wrap the tubes with insulation so you can try to hopefully carry that heat all the way through the roof, and then that won't get colder and ice over, because there's a lot of condensation that they have on it. So anyways, let's heat this up and make this happen. Alright, so now I am going to wrap this around through the holes I just made so it's closer to the top. The reason why I was doing that, heating up a piece of metal and stuffing it through, is because I couldn't get a drill bit in there if I wanted to. So if I just take a piece of metal and burn through the plastic, make some perfectly round holes, perfectly melted round holes, I think it'd be good. All right, I need this drill, need this zip tie, the cutters. Oh, I got one hand. Let's grab another zip tie. How about that? Just be on the safe side. Let's zip tie this. Not worried about the zip ties melting because it's only 50 degrees, and this is what I'm talking about. I think that'll probably work. Ugh, this thing's bulky. All right, now let's head over and pop this into the top of the roof. Okay. Let's take this.
Hi, Howie. Hi.
Oh, he's getting big, guys. He's getting big. This little stinker keeps pooping in his cage, having explosive diarrheas. As you can tell, I already have two. So here's one of my sewer vents. Then I have my concentric vents, and then on the other side there's another sewer vent. And there we have it. I've got to try to figure out what to do. I thought about popping a hole and putting an electrical box here and one here, and then just plug these cords into it and then zip tie them to the spouts. Or I try to find a way of making a little access cover here to shove them down in. The other option, just not long enough. They didn't put long enough cord here. I was going to say, too bad I couldn't go through the peak and go right inside and plug it in, but that's kind of the dilemma. It's a little slippery. But as you can tell, that's what I'm dealing with. And then every time it ices over, I got to do this and then crawl up that. Yeah, that's gonna be a scary thing to do. So I don't want to do that. I don't know why I didn't build an elevator or escalator all the way to the top. Hi, buddy. All right, I'm gonna think about it a little bit, figure out what I want to do. Go from there. Yeah, fun. So what I did here is I actually just cut the lines, put them in a little kind of don't know what you call it. It's like an access cover junction box thing. And then I put 12-2 conduit inside here to each run, so it's good connection. Then I just wing nut. I think it's called wing nut. So anyways, all of these are really tight and secure. But the one thing I thought about is like, okay, what if one of them fails or it doesn't work out very well? and you need power up here. I decided to put a plug in there so I can use a heat gun or something to try to heat the ice off and use that. Hopefully I don't ever have to use it, but you never know. You just never know. I'm trying to think ahead to make life a little bit easier. It's difficult, but I think that'll work. We'll see how it goes.